Why, hello and welcome back to the Anime Club. I'm Nick Knack. With me is the Great Lord Born,
Screw off!
Realm Shifter.
Everyone's being hyper aggressive today. Yeah?
No, just to me, just to Nick Knack.
Yeah, actually, that's true. I should say everyone's being hyper aggressive today to Nick Knack in particular, except for me so far. Although that might change.
He tried to start
What
with
did I
me.
do wrong today?
Seki.
How dare you not commiserate with me this morning?
Murphy's Law.
Commiserate? About what?
Murphy's Law. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. And then some.
Speaking of, I have peach tea cotton candy if you're interested.
I'll try some of that later.
Okay, it smells amazing. The taste, not as good as the smell.
Could be better.
Like, here I am having a pretty damn good day. Watch the new Ranma remake that just dropped today, and I'm being attacked all of a sudden. What the hell?
I was attacked by episode 1 of a show I was planning to watch this season that I now will not be watching this season.
Ah, okay.
It's the villainess one that's coming out this season.
Which one?
I think I know the one.
I will become the greatest villainess.
That one. Okay.
I was watching an anime preview stream that Garnt was doing, and that's where I stopped, is when he was like, wow, this looks generic as all hell.
It's not good. It's well, okay, I've only seen the first episode. It's kind of shit.
Well, I guess now I have to check it to double check on your shitness.
I feel like of the two of us, I objectively should be trusted for having better taste, but you know.
Hard to disagree there.
And now I'm being attacked. You see? You see?
Like, if I count the amount of rabbit holes I've fallen into, I'm pretty sure Vorn's pushed me down a few more than you have.
Disgusting. Anyways.
So this time around, it was my show, Sign of Affection.
I'm still a little bit irritated about that.
I stole this one from
Was this
Seki.
like a manual pick that Realm did?
Yeah,
Yes.
so this was Realm's manual pick, but I put this in the hat a while back when it
I always
first came
knew that
out.
this could happen with the hat system, but I never expected it to occur.
And so, like, I'm just feeling a little...
This is technically the one way you can manipulate the hat system to get better or worse luck for people.
Yeah, arguably. Anyways, so it's Realm's, but it's also mine.
Yeah, but except the credit's gonna go to me. So, and you can
He's not
we can go
wrong
over
there.
that.
At the end of season, that's what I would apply that to, as his luck credit.
I'm gonna scream.
Actually, no, it just wouldn't apply to your luck credit.
I'm gonna scream.
You have no mouth, but you must scream.
I must scream at the top of my lungs.
Yeah. So I mean, yes, this was my show. I did watch this like beforehand, before all of you guys did, I believe.
Not before I did.
Okay, fair enough.
Did you watch it coming out?
I did, in fact.
No, I didn't watch it coming out. I just binged all of it in one day, basically.
I did watch it coming out.
Well, the prize for the longest dick goes to Seki, apparently.
Apparently. So anyways, this is a manga series that was made by Sue Morishita. And this is very demographic, very much shoujo. This is a romance, like hard romance, but it's good. It doesn't leave you on the will they, won't they kind of bullshit train, and that's all I needed.
No, it's adorable. The studio that produced it's called Agiado Animation Works.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got a couple other interesting things up on their docket, but they've been around for a really long time. I think they do contract work for other studios because they're listed in like the real Ghostbusters from like 1986.
Oh,
but
man.
like obviously that was outsourced contract work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How Not to Summon a Demon Lord, Izetta the Last Witch. They're the studio that does Ascendance of a Bookworm.
Woo!
Woohoo.
And Kimono Jihan, and I believe they're also doing the upcoming Villainess series, the middle-aged man reincarnated as a villainess. That's coming out in January.
That's certainly a concept.
Yeah.
This is the one I told you about that I was like...
Not the one you're talking about today, though.
No, different one, but Vorn knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm laughing here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyways.
it sounds like a funny one-off premise. I don't see how an anime series can be that. Then again, I don't know.
Yeah. Also, this is also a relatively recently made anime. This actually came out this year, but between January and March. Yep.
Ooh.
Yep. So it's relatively new, and it shows because the animation quality is, chef's kiss. I love the animation in the show. What? Oh, begging for attention now, are we?
She likes you.
Yeah, I
Will.
know. Yeah.
You're her favorite. She wants pets.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, y'all. You are hearing potentially the dulcet tones of my middle child.
Yes.
This cat doesn't come on to like our recordings very often in the other room.
No, because Trixie doesn't come to the office. But if you're ever like, oh my god, Trixie does not leave us alone on D&D nights when we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Trixie just sits on the floor screaming all session. Like she wants attention.
Yes.
But yeah.
Oh, heaven forbid that you do not give this little poor cat some attention.
Because obviously she gets no love, affection, attention, or food from any of us.
None at all. None ever.
Yeah.
I appreciated that we're in a college setting and not a...
I keep telling you, watch Wotakoi.
I actually like my college settings more than my high school settings usually.
I keep telling you, watch Wotakoi. It's an office romance.
Yeah. Because that's the thing also just
Realm has watched Wotakoi.
Yes, I have actually. Yeah, it's very good. I very much recommend it.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, college is just more interesting than high school. Like that's an acknowledged fact for all of us, right? Because like college, depending on the way that your college system works wherever you go or right, but like in college you've got arguably a lot more freedom because you get to pick your classes and you pick your days and you pick your times and like how intensively you're going. And so it means that the characters have like a lot more autonomy to do things outside of like a very structured schedule. Mm-hmm. They're also not required to wear uniforms all the time and stuff like that, which is definitely like an aesthetic thing. It means that we actually get to see our characters in like outfits representing like kind of their personalities and like how they dress, which is nice.
I understand why the high school setting is so common. It's a pretty shared experience, but
I mean,
I don't know. It's like the college is just, for me, ends up being a lot less intrusive of a setting.
Yeah, I'd agree there, and I think the main thing is, at least as far as like the settings discussion goes, because I've seen some other opinions of this online, is just the reason it's so popular, at least over in Japan, is because most Japanese people kind of, their highlights end up being their high school years, so it ends up being kind of a general setting and also escapism slightly.
You're making a face,
depressing. If my high school years were my escapism.
Yeah, I know, right? But that's a whole nother societal discussion in and of itself.
I've heard that discussed. It's less around the high school itself and more around like the culture of the work culture once you've left high school.
Yeah, because the work culture becomes like far more aggressive than the school culture ever was in comparison. So it's like in comparison, it was like you were on Easy Street going through high school. Not to say it was Easy Street, but in comparison it was comparatively carefree.
You had more free time.
Yes, exactly.
We talked a lot about the setting. I realize I know I'm the one that led us down that road, but we haven't even brought up the fact like what the actual what the name even is about.
A sign of affection.
Yes.
Our main character is congenitally deaf. She's been deaf since she was born.
Yeah.
And she grew up and went to a deaf school and learns how to speak with sign language, but in other ways as well, because unfortunately you can't expect a lot of other people to know sign language, so most people who are deaf or mute have to find other ways that they're able to communicate, etc. And so our main character is congenitally deaf, and this is a romance story, and it's all about this really nice dude who falls in love with her and decides to learn a new language for her.
I didn't piece this all together when I watched it for the first time. Like, I didn't even piece together the name. I just started like, oh, it's a romance show, let's watch it. And like, they do a really good fake out at the beginning of the series where you see the foreigner talking to her, and she's like, the foreigner's speaking
Trixie,
and there's no words coming out. And you're like, oh, it's because they're speaking English that she doesn't understand it.
So, did anyone watch this in the sub?
Yes.
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
So, question then, because I actually watched this in dub, which actually the dub was very good. Don't worry, the dub was actually very, very good. Mm-hmm. The one question I did have though is that There are moments in the show when other characters use English and German, right? So the English dub actually went out and got people who could like fluently speak German, or at least sound like they could fluently speak German or English, right? So it doesn't sound like a Japanese person who doesn't speak those languages mutilating another language. Is that true of the sub? Because like whenever they were like German language was coming out, it did sound like
It wasn't the worst I've ever heard. It sounded like a Japanese person that properly knew how to speak English, but there was still an accent.
okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't like some of the, like where they pulled the random voice actors out of the like just from their normal role. Like, hey, we need you to speak English for this one line in this one episode, and they dropped the most horrendously butchered line of all time.
So
English.
Then I think
Yeah.
it's interesting because in the dub they don't indicate when other characters are actually speaking English, and you should be aware that they're speaking another language. So I definitely missed a few times when characters were supposed to be talking in English that she couldn't understand because it was all in English. But I could hear it much better when the German came out because they actually got someone who could like pronounce the phonemes of the German language.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did actually do the other languages in the sub.
But
And
did they
that's-
do them well?
Passively.
They did it passively.
Most of the time, it's a Japanese person trying to speak English, so I expect it to not be
Okay.
like.
Well, because I turned on subtitle, I switched over to sub for the last episode because I had an issue on Crunchyroll, right? In that for the first 11 episodes, when I watched them, I was on English dub and I didn't turn on subtitles, right? But I was on the English dub and it was still translating like the text messages for me, right? But they were popping up like on screen translations, like they fit in. I don't know how to explain this, but it wasn't popping up the little translation in like where you normally see the subtitle box. It just looked like they were genuinely translating it on screen, like as it would have popped up in the Japanese text, but in the English for the first 11 episodes. And then all of a sudden in episode 12, stopped doing that entirely.
Oof.
And it just went to Japanese only text for all the text messages. And they just stopped translating it.
On the last episode, they just gave up.
On the last episode, they just stopped providing translations for like the text messages in the dub. So I had to go and switch to sub and turn the subtitles back on to get the translations. And then they still showed up in the weird translation box down at the bottom, not on screen like they had been for all the other episodes, which felt really weird to me. Like 11 of the episodes were done in one way, and then the final episode was just.
Could be a number of things that caused that. Could just be that they're like, yeah, we're done with the series, we're moving on.
Yeah. Whatever it was really frustrating on the last episode because I had to rewatch episode 12 twice because I didn't realize the first time that it wasn't translating stuff on screen for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I must have just missed it when I blinked or something. No, I did not, in fact, miss it when I blinked.
Yep. I mean, I guess so. We briefly mentioned our main character here. Her name is Yuki Tosei. And she's like pink-haired girl.
That's another thing. Can we
Yeah.
acknowledge the fact that the show acknowledges that her pink hair is because she is dyeing her hair?
Yes.
She is bleaching and dyeing her hair. The unusual hair colors in this show come from people bleaching and dyeing their hair, not some sort of gene in the Japanese population that just allows you to be born with green or pink hair.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. The show
Like
actually
we see
does it.
roots growing back in on Itsuomi, her love interest.
Yes.
We see his roots grow back. He has to
Yes.
re-dye his hair.
Yep.
Also, people tan in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Itsuomi, he comes back from one of his
He comes back from his month-long trip tan.
his month-long trip, and he
With
is
roots grown in.
he is real tanned.
Yeah.
Which one? The last one?
The month-long trip. He only took one
Oh,
trip that was
yeah.
a month-long.
Yeah, because all of his other trips are kind of like usually like for like a weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then but then as far as our other cast goes, we've also got her like childhood friend, Oshi. I'm probably butchering.
Oshi.
Yeah, Oshi. And he's like, I don't know, he's just the kind of possessive type, at least in this episode. He was like,
It's not
Ye-
it's not that he's the possessive type. He's in love with her and he refuses to admit it and instead
Yeah.
pulls her
Yeah.
pigtails and then he fucks around and finds out and now he's got to deal with the consequences.
yeah, pretty much.
I don't feel all that bad for him. He
No.
had the opportunity for 10 years.
Yeah, he really just kind of got what he deserved. He sat on his laurels and he was a bit of a dickhead. And
Well, I think it's that he does learn, like he grows grows as a character.
Yeah,
This
no,
show does show character growth, and he does
Mhm.
grow as a character. So like, I do feel a little bit bad for him near the end, but like
Yeah.
he did, make his own bed. Now he
right.
has to lie in it.
That's where I was trying to go with that. Is that he definitely like he had some questionable decisions that he made it, and he's trying to improve it. Honestly, I actually really appreciated the scene between him and Itsuomi, where the two of them are kind of just like bonding. Like he's trying his best anyways.
I hate you. Let's get a beer.
Yeah, I hate you. Let's get a beer.
I will say, during like the first half, I thought he was actually just a concerned friend,
Oh yeah.
like looking out for her. Because like if you think from like her, like his perspective, what she's doing is like, wait, what the fuck? Red flags everywhere, kind of stuff.
Well, not necessarily. I think in the first half of the show, it's certainly portrayed that the issue he has seems to be with just how the world treats deaf people in general,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of his comments are directed at the entire deaf community, sort of like people shouldn't even let them do dangerous things. So I don't think that's wrong at all to see. Like, absolutely, that's how it's portrayed in the first half, because you don't really see that it's her,
Yeah.
until the second half.
Mhm.
Well, also like my thing was also like she wasn't telling her mom where the heck she was going. She also lied to him about where she was going and like a couple
Yeah,
other
but
things. So,
to a certain extent, right? I can understand why she wouldn't just be like, "Hi mom, I'm going to meet a person that I really like that I've known for a week and we're going to hang out an hour before my curfew," Like she's 19, she's in college. I get that she's deaf, but she can just say, "Hey, I'm going out. My phone's charged and it's with," like, no offense, but I don't know if this is like intentional or it's just the way that the characters are written, but like in some ways the way that her family treats her rubs me a little bit the wrong way, because every one of her family members basically infantilizes her. And so does Oshi at the beginning. Like the only people who actually encourage her to like go out and do things and be a person are her other deaf friends and Rin and Itsuomi, right?
Yeah.
Everyone else is too worried about the poor deaf girl. And I get that, like, you have to take, like, obviously precautions have to be taken when you're living your life and you're deaf, right? Like, things are different for you. But everyone does kind of baby her a little bit. So I don't blame her for not being like, "Mom, I'm going out to meet a person that I met like a month or two ago at a laundromat at like presumably like 9 p.m. at night."
Yeah, something
You know?
like that.
That's not even that weird.
Yeah.
You know? Like when I went out like in the middle, I don't tell my mother when I go out in the middle of the night. You know? If anything, I just say, "I'm going out."
Yeah.
That's all. My phone is on me. It's charged. That's all they need to know.
Yeah.
I don't blame her. I don't think that's that weird. I think everyone else is overreacting because she's disabled in a way, and they're treating her a certain way because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just how I grew up. I just find this concerning to me.
To each their own, I guess. But
What
I
do
mean,
you think, Knick Knack? You've been nodding along to what everyone has been
I mean,
saying.
I understand what both you and Vorn are saying, because I feel like I never did exercise nearly the amount of freedom. I'm just gonna leave at 10 at night. I've got my phone on me.
Yeah,
Normally,
you did do that.
No, I did do it, but normally I'd be like, "Hey, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing when I'm leaving that late," because the parents naturally worry when you're living with them.
yeah.
And it's just sort of it's not because I have to. It's a courtesy to them knowing that they will worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
And you'll notice, when we did hang out, I often did get texts from my parents, "Hey, how are you doing? Hey," and I'd be like, "Oh,
Apparently, I'm just a bad child. Apparently, I have no sense
I
of
think just different
self-preservation.
cultures grow up with different levels of independence."
well, I mean, also like whenever I'm going out, like I don't usually tell my parents where I'm
Yeah.
going, like unless like what is it? Unless like they just, and usually like it's just a case of they won't ask me, and then they'll just ask me when I get back. "Oh, where'd you go?" Well,
Yeah, I know you two had a lot more independence as far as being
That's true.
places without your parents.
I was very much allowed to just go outside and like do things until I came back covered in bloody knees and scratches as a child.
One time I went with a couple of friends we share, or that we did share back then. What were you doing in there? Like, I had a day free and I went and hung out with friends. What?
Meanwhile, I'm over here. I'm bye.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Getting back on topic though, real quick. So we do also have a couple other supporting characters. You did mention
Rin.
Rin.
So her translator. Well, so Rin's not her translator, but Rin translates like the lectures onto her laptop for her. Like she writes her stuff down for her in class. Presumably, I would assume that either the way that would work in the U.S. would be that you would go to like deaf services counseling or something, and then they would link you up with a student in your classes who is registered with them to do that. That's what it sounds like happened here, because she mentions that like it's not a friend that she met on her own, it's someone who like does this function for her. So it sounds like maybe they met because of that and then just became friends along the way.
Right, because they had like a lot of things that they just clicked
obviously
together.
Spend a lot of time together too, because
Right.
she's there every class. Like
Right. Yeah.
Presumably they'd probably the same major too.
Most likely.
Yeah.
And then we also have
Manager.
Manager
Manager
Kyoya, who is also
I kind of hate that his name is Kyoya and he's the manager, because all I could think of, you know what I'm thinking of, Realm. Realm understands.
I'm shaking my head to that statement. But
Realm understands, and Nick Nack doesn't, because he is a heathen.
Yeah, apparently I don't. I'll shake my head with Warren there.
he doesn't know, chat. He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. He's never seen the cinematic masterpiece.
Nope.
Which cinematic masterpiece?
Or on High School Host Club. Kyoya, the manager of the host club.
Oh.
Yes, the little one.
Mhm.
Fucking boomer.
Wait, is it the little one? No, I'm wrong.
Somehow that's even worse than Nick Nack.
I'm trying to remember because it's been so
He's
long.
the black-haired one with glasses.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mother.
Yeah, no, I know. The rich
See,
dude.
these are the anime old people watched.
Yeah. This is the anime for boomers.
I feel insulted. I feel verbally attacked. How dare you?
Okay, so anyways,
There's also a couple more supporting characters.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
also like Emma. We see all these.
It's mostly Emma and the hairstylist.
Yeah,
Shin.
Shin.
Yeah, mostly Emma and Shin.
Yeah. It was honestly, I mean, aside from like the main romance here, it's also nice that we actually get like other characters that also have their kind of developing romances like as things go on, which is
I thought it was so relatable that like Rin is like, come with me and we're both gonna go and we're both gonna encourage one another and support one another because I'm nervous and you're nervous.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yes, exactly.
It's like
yeah.
very relatable. I feel that on a spiritual level.
Yep.
I appreciate. I get it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it was great, and I really did like actually appreciate like how some of the I was honestly not expecting. I will say in the last episode with Emma and Shin, I wasn't expecting them to like actually go out on a date just because of like how long the Shin kept up like the whole like story of him never wanting to date Emma, that kind of thing.
But it wasn't even that he kept it up for so long. It was that he said it once and then didn't deny it and then just lived with the consequences of his own actions.
Right.
Once again, this man made his bed and then chose to lie in it for like half a decade.
And just unlike the other friend, he didn't end up missing the boat.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
He did get on with it eventually. I felt so bad for him because I was like, damn, that's really gotta fucking suck.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know,
Yeah.
especially because like you said it to like defend yourself from like this crazy girl who wouldn't leave you alone, but like
Being fair, wasn't the implication was that was his girlfriend at the time?
no, because
No.
he turned her down.
Yeah.
Because we saw the flashback of her asking to be his girlfriend, and he
That's
was
right.
like, no. And then she like followed him up to the roof and was like, you don't like me because you have feelings for her.
I thought he didn't turn her down for
I think
some
he
reason.
did.
I thought he didn't for
Wait, I
some
thought you said
reason.
that was the girlfriend. Yeah,
The short-haired one?
the one on the roof.
Yeah, no, I thought that was ex-girlfriend.
No, I thought that was girlfriend.
I thought it was ex-girlfriend. Not ex-girlfriend, but I thought it was
I'm really sure he.
It could go either way.
I mean,
yeah.
it happens the same way either way. So.
I really feel like he said that to like get out of the situation, but I could be really wrong. I just don't know at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things,
it doesn't really matter because it, at the same, regardless of what
this is
happened.
a one-off character that never appears again.
Yeah, and like regardless of which of the two situations is correct, the same thing happened in terms of outcome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the outcome was the same.
Yeah.
So I like, if this was probably me, I probably would have said the same thing, because like he does know that Emma does like the other guy.
Itsuomi.
Yeah, Itsuomi. So like, I would probably say the same thing, just like so I can get over the feeling of, oh, she probably won't reciprocate my feelings at all.
At the
So,
same
yeah.
time, I will say, the character I liked least in this show is Emma, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for Emma at all, right? Because yes, like she's liked Itsuomi since presumably high school, but he made it pretty clear to her that he did not feel the same way about her, and she just refused to take
No
that
for any answer.
as an
Yeah.
answer. Like she absolutely refused, and then it somehow became his problem. Like I don't feel bad for her. I think it's
Yeah.
nice that she eventually like got over it, but she really should have. If they're all the same age, remember Itsuomi's 21, 22? Like
Something like that. Yeah.
it's been like 5-6 years presumably.
Mhm.
One thing I respect in the series, they didn't blow neither her nor was it Oshi, the main character's friend, that like childhood friend.
Yes.
Those are
Oshi.
kind of the two
Yeah.
two heartbreak stories
Yeah.
that happened with this, and neither of them were really blown up as drama.
Well,
In fact, both times situations were taken care of by characters other than the friend that they were turned down by, or that would have turned them down.
yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Oshi didn't really capitulate. He was just like, I will be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, so long as he's not actively trying to like do anything shitty.
Which he's clearly not. Like he at least like
Yeah.
he's just overly like projective and
Yeah.
just
And I mean, to some extent, yeah, it is useful to have a friend who can help you with many of these things, right? And there
Mhm.
are problems you can like. Yuki has had problems throughout the show that she needed help with, like
Mhm.
the grocery store thing, right?
Mhm.
Like she did not understand what the cashier was saying because of the mask on his face, and it was
Mhm.
making her panicked and stuff. It was nice that someone was there to step in,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not mad at him.
Yeah. Like he hasn't like realistically done anything wrong. He just made poor decisions
Yeah.
ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I do wonder when the MIT like sign language glove is going to come out.
Sign language glove.
Yeah, I think it's MIT who is actually making like a glove which reads your hand movement in coordination to sign language and then writes it out onto like a screen on your arm.
Huh.
Yeah. That's interesting.
That was a
That's-
while ago, so I can't wait until that
Sounds
comes
very.
out.
It still sounds very experimental to me. Yeah,
But it also sounds largely unnecessary because if you're using sign language, presumably you're using it with someone who can already read it.
right.
Yeah.
Like if the person you're talking to can't read sign language, you would
Then
just
there's no at the
type it
point
up
where
or
you're
do
typing
something
anyways
else.
with sign language, you might as well have just typed in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you might as well
Yeah.
just type on at that point. Yeah,
It's
you
the
might.
other way communication that needs to be fixed, not that
Mm.
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like now, if there was like a glove that had like animatronics in it or something
Like
that
I-
as you speak would move your
Mm.
hands for you.
Like I was like, that sounds creepy but useful if like you could talk and it would move your hands for you. But that's
Mm.
see, that's what we both thought you were talking
I
about
was
with the
like,
sign language glove.
I was like, I see the purpose of that, but also,
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I don't know exactly how that would work, but if it's willing to make the motions for me. I would like to point out though that if anyone who watches this anime speaks ASL or BSL or another version of sign language, that would not be mutually inclusive with JSL. So the characters are using Japanese sign language. There are different sign languages for different languages around the world, and while there are some symbols and signs that are the same, they are not all the same, and a lot of signs and symbols often have very different meanings across different sign languages. I only say because I know a little bit of American Sign Language because I have a friend whose mom is deaf, and then I had a couple friends taking it in college, so like I learned some stuff, and so it's not one-to-one.
Yeah. Isn't there like about like 8 different ones?
Oh, way more.
Well,
More.
Like just common version ones.
Probably more because most
Okay.
most cultures just come up with their own.
Mm.
But
You might be thinking in the U.S. there's probably
no, in
something
U.S.
like that.
there's American Sign Language. I mean, it's pretty much
Yeah.
just the one. But American Sign Language and British Sign Language are significantly different enough that like there would be some miscommunication if you tried to just put two people. I mean, they'd figure it out, you know.
Mhm.
But like for example, like some of the signs she used, like this, does not mean love in American Sign Language.
Mm.
That's
Is it
not what
hate?
this means. It doesn't mean that either. It means
Oh.
something else, but
Okay.
like unrelated entirely, just like an entirely different thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah. So like if you paired like two like deaf people that knew ASL and one knew JSL, they would not have like
they'd
Yeah.
understand each other to some extent, but there would be like a lot of signs that probably means one thing to one person and another thing to another person, and then you'd probably have to like finger spell it out. But then I don't even know if the finger spelling is the same between
Ooh.
ASL and JSL, and I don't think it is, because from the way that she was describing finger spelling in JSL and some of the movements, it looked like some of the movements for finger spelling. Well, first of all, alphabet to phonemic language, right? It's not going to be
Yeah.
the same as a, e, u, e, o is not the same as A, B, C, D, E,
Mhm.
right? And second of all, some of the finger movements she made looked like she was imitating like the strokes of like kanji
Right.
in the motion she made for finger spelling.
Yeah.
So even finger spelling wouldn't be able to get you 100% of the way there.
Right.
Like, imagine if sign language was universal. It'd be like Esperanto, but with your hands.
Not Esperanto. Wait, can I ask? Do we all collectively remember Esperanto because that stupid thing came up on a standardized testing prompt when we were in middle school?
God.
Right? Because I feel like that's the only reason I know what Esperanto is.
I have
Sorry,
no
I've got
clue.
Esperanto on the mic. There's a video game soundtrack that needed a fake language to use for their singing, so
Should
they
have
used
used
Esperanto.
Simlish.
Yeah. Singlish.
Simlish.
What is
Simlish.
Esperanto? Come on, spill.
It was a proposed universal language that drew things from a lot of other languages, mostly.
Multiple Romance languages and parts of languages from all over the globe, and it was meant to be a one single language that everyone could learn and everyone would speak, and nobody would ever need to have to struggle to communicate again.
Got it. The
And it didn't work
recording did
because
not.
it's a language that nobody spoke.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
part of why it didn't work, and then also it did heavily favor Western languages.
Mhm.
Because it was primarily based, I think, in English and Spanish as the original base for Esperanto, hence the name Esperanto.
Right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, English to Spanish is not the hardest language transition in the first place.
No, it is not.
You, like if you're going from like a
No,
like-
just learning Spanish
Yeah.
from being an English speaker, it's not the hardest language you can learn.
yeah.
They're very similar systems.
There's a reason why Spanish class was so loaded in high school.
No, Spanish class was bloated in high school because students who already spoke Spanish could take the class to
Oh.
get their language credit without actually having to learn a new language.
Right.
We're
yeah,
all
exactly.
saying this like from the California perspective, where like,
Yeah,
most of our population is probably Spanish.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Spanish,
Yeah.
Hispanic.
Yeah. Is that Dr. Pepper?
It's that it's that.
Oh, is that Dr.
Seki, how much of the pyramid do you have left?
4 boxes.
You can go take a look for yourself if you like.
And
it.
some still left in the fridge.
That better last you the rest of the year.
That's not gonna happen.
Remember, the goal is Thanksgiving.
The goal stinks. Oh,
The
Jesus.
goal is Thanksgiving.
Oh, Jesus.
Still 2 months before that.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Anyways.
You also in the comments of this video, like type whether or not you succeeded with your goal, because this should be coming out around that time.
Oh God! No, I can't out myself like that. No.
Chat, pester her. Pester her. You know your job. Do it.
Chat does not need to get involved in my crippling Diet Dr. Pepper addiction. Anyways, back to A Sign of Affection.
Oh, do we have any comments, I guess, about like any of the openings or EDs?
Oh, the openings were
Ooh.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And so were
Alright.
the EDs. I
Yeah.
loved them.
Yeah.
They were very nice.
Yeah.
There were 2 post-credit scenes on 2 specific episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I did see those. I just don't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Not on all of them, but on just 2 different episodes.
Yeah.
One was in like the first couple of episodes, and another one was at episode like 5 or 6.
Something
Like that. It
Yeah.
had a post-credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest didn't, because I checked after I saw the first post-credit scene every time when I got to the end. But I really liked the opening, and I really liked the ending. I really liked the way that the opening kind of showed off like all the different relationships of the characters in turn. I thought that was really cute.
Yeah. It was nice, even though like I wasn't up for romance that much. This still was a pretty nice show.
Yeah. Honestly, though, like when I was watching this, because I was in the mood for like a romance anime, this show made my inner fangirl come out.
It's like everything I read fan fiction for, but in an anime format. I stopped reading fan fiction to watch this show.
Oh my goodness, that says something. Then.
Like if I squeed so loud. I sent a voice memo of me squeeing to one of my friends, and it woke the dog that she was watching, who's deaf. She called it supersonic.
Oh my goodness.
Ultrasonic, whatever. Anyways, it's so sweet.
Megasonic.
Teenage Warhead. It's so sweet. It's tooth-rottingly sweet, but in the best of ways.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a crippling addiction, but a good one to have.
I have no complaints. It is the sweetest relationship between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because he's so willing to just go with her flow, you know?
Right.
And not push it. But at the same time, he's like, but we'll try new things.
Yeah.
And it is really nice that they don't like make it a huge focus that he wants to take her like out of, like, obviously they want to go traveling out of country, but it's really nice that we ended not with them in another country, but with them just out doing something that she's interested in, that kind of combines both visiting a new place for him and something that she's interested in, because we didn't get to hear a whole ton about the things that she liked over the course of the show until the very end.
Yeah.
So that was wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think that about covers it. Do we have anything else that we've missed that we haven't talked about, or any other comments?
Well, we have waifu wars.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Waifu
Wars.
Waifu
Wars.
Waifu Wars.
Realm. I don't really know, honestly, if I had to pick one.
Okay. Born.
The relationship between the manager and the translator.
Aw, that's adorable. Knick-knack.
Yeah.
You can just describe the character.
It's been like 3 weeks. I watched this pretty back to back.
Bruh, this is a you problem. My waifu is Itsuomi. He's perfect.
You know what? Honestly, I'm right here with you in this one.
Also, not only is he perfect, right? But there are 2 to 3 different times during the show where he describes why he likes traveling, and like as a beating heart anthropology major, right? Traveling to see different cultures and meet new people and like make friends and like teach and all that sort of, like, you had to know that was gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it just nest deep in my soul.
Yeah, I like Itsuomi, but I like him for different reasons. I like him mostly because he's actually like a really good dude. Like, because like I got that like in his interaction between him and Oshi, like like even though Oshi was like really like trying to tell him to fuck off, basically, like the dude was not having no for an answer with him, and he went about it in the best way he possibly could, which I really appreciated about that with them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Rin, great friend, best girl.
This bias doesn't have anything to do with because she vaguely looks like Taiga, does it?
No, I didn't even think about that.
It's because her name is Rin.
That I did think about, but that wasn't the reason.
To be fair, Rin is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who does remind me of Taiga?
Who?
Madoka and her aunt. So 2 supporting characters we didn't mention. Well, we tangentially did, but Madoka is one of the girls that she went to her deaf school with, who has late onset deaf hearing loss.
Yeah.
And her aunt is the one who runs the cafe that Yuki eventually finds work at, and they have this very like yes with like flames in their eyes. Actually, that is one thing I want to touch on. It was incredibly kind of like heart-wrenching to watch what I would assume is pretty close to the reality of someone deaf trying to find work in Japan.
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't
Yeah.
speak. In a country where most people don't sign, and they would just because I can imagine that happens in the U.S. too. That happens everywhere around the world. Is that a lot of places don't want an employee who can't communicate the same way as everyone else and who requires like extra accommodations and stuff. So that was sad, like heart-wrenching to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is very like understandable. Like you like not only are you going to experience rejection regularly, like it is going to be incredibly like just common.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the fact that like when she asked Madoka about the job, Madoka basically just came out and was like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to be used to the fact that a lot of places are gonna discriminate, and you're just gonna have to keep applying and trying at different stuff
Mm-hmm.
because some places are better than others."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also like you saw like a lot of the trying to pity her while also rejecting her. It's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
even worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that like half the interviews she went to didn't even spring like I think in the US it's pretty much mandatory for if you're interviewing I think a deaf or a mute candidate you have to have an interpreter there, I believe, in the US. There were no interpreters at any of her interviews, if you noticed.
Yeah,
She
I
was
did notice
literally
that.
there with her notepad
Yeah.
for half of them.
Mm-hmm.
Worst part is they're not gonna say it's because she's deaf because
Nope.
they probably legally can't.
Yep.
So they'll give her some other bullshit reason.
Yeah,
We're going in
exactly.
a different direction with the company.
Yeah.
We've chosen a
Mm.
different candidate.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they just literally have.
And
they
there's
literally-
nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's absolutely nothing she can do because it is well within their right to hire a different candidate.
Mhm.
There's no laws against it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that.
Yeah.
Any other final comments or things we may have not touched on?
I think if you like this, you should go watch Wotakoi.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like
Oh
100.
yes, recommendations.
Like Wotakoi is the perfect show to go off this into if you're still into the same vibe.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is
Amazing.
100% match. Like if it was on that Netflix thing where it says like this show is like a blank percent match to what you just watched, Wotakoi would be under 100%.
Absolutely.
100% match to what you just watched.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna redirect over to watch. I feel like it is a pretty obvious one. Silent Voice.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tackles similar objects. A little less heavy on like romantic elements than this show.
And it's a little bit more heavy on societal commentary.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Yeah, it's still absolutely like right there.
To the extent at which I actually watched the show, because I didn't finish it, but March comes in like a lion.
Mm. Okay.
Read life. Just solely just due to how they actually have to deal with like societal like thoughts right there.
Bake Monogatari.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I don't see that one, but maybe that's just because I remember a very different show.
Yeah, well, remember, collectively, you three didn't like Bake, and I did, and then it was reversed for Real Life, so...
Mm.
But I personally thought that the two shows were actually quite similar, and y'all were just missing the fact that they were quite similar, so...
Real Life and Bake? No, Bake was similar to Bunny Girl Senpai.
Sorry, Bunny
Yeah.
Girl Senpai.
You know, yeah,
what I was thinking.
that's also another recommendation I would give would actually be Bunny Girl Senpai. Even though it does follow the high school setting, it's still like romance and tackles other like individual like traumas and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's still interesting, I'd say.
All right.
Yeah. Any other recommendations?
I've got nothing.
All right.
If it doesn't come immediately to mind, it doesn't deserve the recommendation.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Before we end, I want the record to show today that I wasn't the one to bring up Fate today at all.
That's
Was
true.
Realm.
That's true. It was me. It was me for once.
That's fair.
I guess we have to pull for the next anime or announce
We
the next anime.
do. It is from the random hat, so if you give me a drum roll. It is Kaiju number 8.
Woo! I want to say it's mine from the random hat, right?
Probably.
Something.
Certainly not. Yeah, it's definitely yours.
Yeah, because it was definitely wasn't me. It was either.
I know for a fact it's not either of ours and it's not his. So it's
Nah.
yours.
Yeah.
If nothing else, I know what isn't someone's at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm just staring at that. For
Although,
so
I
long.
mean, if I was desperate, I could have accidentally like put it in or something like that. But
Nah.
I kind of
No, this is one I put in
Yeah.
because I was desperate because I was running out of things to put in, and this one looked fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be back with Kaiju number 8.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Try harder, everybody.